Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be talking about my Twine endurance, right? All the builds collected in one, and to ensure that you're up to date with everything. Now, of course, if you should be watching each individual video as you go, right? If you're using my builds, right? If you're not using all my builds, you're using some of my builds, that's also okay too, right? This video is just trying to help keep you up to date with everything, right? And trying to collect them all together in one, because originally when I made a lot of these videos, I didn't have the intention of AFKing the Valley amplifier, right? And just AFKing all the way 24 waves up to the UFO. I never had that kind of intention initially. It's just that as my builds developed, I developed better assassin tunnels, and eventually just led to that point where I can AFK, right? So hopefully this video will help you keep up to date with everything and make sure you don't lose anything. Alright, so first I'm going to talk about the Homebase North, right? Now some of these things are going to be on testing, and some of these I'll say that they're verified to be working. So the Homebase North, what I tried to do is make it a little bit cheaper, just 5 tiles cheaper. So I tried removing this tile over here on the very east, and try to move in that tile over there on the very west, right? And see if this still would make this build stable, right? And this is what I try to do for many builds, right, to try to save on tiles, right? Doing little things here and there like that. Another little thing you can do is that if you have a 1x knockback floor launcher, 1x knockback, 1x reload, then you can use this on these two floor launchers over here, right? And what ends up happening is that they don't launch very far, so you don't have to have that third row of walls over there, so it saves you 3 extra tiles. Alright? Now, with that in mind, right, we can move on to the ridge, right? Now, the assassin tunnel over here, right, I used to have wall launchers, launch them east, right? However, I decided to do something a little bit different with the floor launcher, and see if those floor launchers would, how would that work, right? See what would that do. So this is totally optional. You don't have to change it to these floor launchers, where I'm using 4x impact single reload floor launchers, launch them all the way north, right? And this is something I'm just trying out. And block off on the ridge over here is pretty much the exact same. There's no changes whatsoever, right? It's literally the exact carbon copy of everything over here. Okay. Now, for the ridge down there, what I've done a little bit differently, I think, is just remove this one tile. So I removed this one tile on the ridge, and I think that should be okay, right? I had a wooden floor spike here, and also I had a wooden floor spike here, but I decided to remove them because I don't think I need them, right? But I'll keep the wall launchers and wall lights because those are really needed for the crowd control. Now for the double amplifier, as you can see over here, I removed some pyramids over here in some walls, right? So the very the amplifier design over here, I removed some layers over here, right? And this is just to save on extra tiles, and I feel like I don't need these layers. Alright, now on the lava bomb shift for the west side, right? For the west side lava bomb shift, you can see there's been a little bit of changes over here in the block off, right? I made some slight adjustments over here, right, with the design, right, to make it a little bit cheaper. And I don't need these diamond floors over here on these tiles anymore. It seems like it doesn't matter for this lava bomb shift, right? From my testing, the lava bomb shift, what really matters is these 7 diamond floors you see, right? Those 7 diamond floors you saw there, that's all you need, right? So there, 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 and there, right? So let me just do that again, right? So those diamond floors all the way across over there, right? That's all you need. And I'll shift the lava bomb as long as you have the slants associated with it. Alright, I removed the diamond floors in here because they didn't seem to matter with the lava bomb shift. Right, and everything over here has been the exact same, even down there has been the exact same since my video. I changed this block off slightly to block off this hill instead. I think that's pretty much it for that area. And think Devil North, lava shield has changed slightly, but it pretty much should function the exact same way as before, right? And these tile removals over here, I kept them. And I think it was fine to keep them. Another thing to notice too is that even though this is actually not going to be enough for flingers, because flingers can actually fling from here, but they don't seem to path up here, right? And I think it's because they're too busy trying to path over there, right? So they never really path on the east side, the flingers. All right, which is kind of surprising to me. All right, amplifier design exactly the same. And we are going to go on to the pit, right? The pit is pretty much the exact same as you saw in my pre-built, pre-built video, right? Literally the exact same. I think the only difference is I made this wall launcher 5 times impact, right? I made that wall launcher 5 times impact, and down here is the same in my video. And I removed this wall over here, so I used to have a wall over there. That's been removed. And there's also these 2 traps, or 3 traps. So I put a healing trap over here because if this had no trap, it seems like assassin husks do hit on it sometimes. So I have a healing just in case. And also these dynamos over here. This is for the husk phasing. If a husk phase over here, and then we have the dynamos to zap them. All right. Usually it's like the little midgets or something really weak. Right, but other than that, the pit has been the exact same, right? Maybe I've changed some things over here just to add extra walls for the mini boss. Excuse me. Moving on to the bridge. The bridge has actually gone through a few changes, right? As you can see, there's gone through many changes over here, right? And I'll make a new bridge video at some time, right? I'll have to find some time for that, but hopefully I can do that. But overall, the amp design is overbuilt, right? This over here is empty because of meteors. And there's several tiles on the north side. And I want to make sure that this area over here is clean because the husks from the pit amplifier need to path back up. So I don't want too many structures on this side or else it's going to block their pathing. Alright. So when we go a little bit more detail, so the block off over here is pretty much the exact same as in my pit video, right? And if you saw some pictures, you saw that, hey, I was able to add 1 extra layer from here because this is always destroyed from a meteor, right? This is pretty much always destroyed from a meteor. And I also added an additional layer at the very front over here. And this should 100% work for the smashers. 100% work for the smashers. And yeah, so just put a box around here and the smashers should path up here. But if you place a floor on here, for some reason, the smashers stop pathing. Really weird. Alright. And in here is a wall dynamo in case there's a husk phasing over here. And usually it's a little midget. Alright. But this area over here, I'm gonna do a disclaimer is that this is something very recent, right? I used to have this, which was stable, but the hustling sometimes phase through. So I'm gonna try removing that and see what would happen. All right, it could be possible I may require this over here, but I'll have to keep testing, right? So this is experimental over here, right? But I do know that this over here works 100%, but it has sometimes a husk phasing over there. This block off here on the north side of the bridge is going to have a total of 7 layers, right? So this is actually more layers than my video. And I'm not sure why. In my video, it always was stable. But some recent patches made it so that you require more layering over here. I'm not sure why. And I think many people have told me they also experienced this problem. Alright, so make sure you have sufficient layering and you should be good on this side over here. Alright. And then when you go over to the south pathing over here, I have just pretty much the same usual stuff, except I didn't block it off completely. Instead, I'm going to be using a lava shield. Now, when I calculate the tiles of this lava shield, it covers everything up to 9 tiles. But however, the flinger throwing distance could be 10 tiles because there is no scuffed terrain in this area. So it could be possible this is 10 tiles, but I have to do testing on that to verify that. Alright, so this could be at risk for a flinger from throwing, right? But again, I would do testing on it. Alright. Now another thing to keep in note as well, I changed this block off over here. So I just have 1 layer walls with the wall launchers, right? And 2 layers over here in the very back, right? And this should be enough for the from preventing them to hit the back way. Alright. And another thing that I've done too is the lobber shield change over here. There's no lobber shield on the northwest over there, right? There is none. However, there is a lobber shield over here, right? And lobber shield over there, right? So if you just take a screenshot of this or something, you can probably build it exactly the same. As well, there is going to be some little anti-airs, right? So I have 4 anti-airs over here, right? If you want to, which is totally optional, of course, is to add more anti-airs, right? You can add more anti-airs, but it's up to you, right? And these anti-airs are just for the meteors when I'm AFKing, right? So there's not too much damage on the structures. This here is experimental, right? On the hill amplifier over here, right? So this over here on the hill amplifier is experimental with 2 layers. I used to have 3 layers, however, I want to see if I can get away with just 2. Alright, so this is experimental, but I think it should still work. Alright, and everything in terms of trapping on this side over here is exactly the same. I may have removed some things here and there just to save some tiles, right? And the hill amplifier itself is heavily built, right? As you can see, it's extremely overbuilt for the mini bosses yet again, right? And this is overbuilt for the mini bosses. Now, another thing to also note too is the lobber shield design. It has undergone some changes. It went through some changes. So essentially, I used to have the lobber shield on these tiles over here, and then one more up there. But due to recent testing, it seems like the flinger distance over here is excuse me, my goodness. It's a throw distance of 9, right? Because of the scuffed area over here. A throw distance of 9, right? So with that knowledge, I tried to mark it one by one to see if where would that flinger distance would be, right? And it seems like all the way up to here, and then the flinger can throw from here, right? So that was the idea, and then that's how I designed this the lobber shield as shown. And then they can fling from over here, 3, 4, and then they can fling from here and then up here, right? Which these tiles over here would be down here, right? So these are like how I imagine the flingers where they can be flinging from. Right? Again, this is based on calculation, right? Okay, with that in mind, that is the kind of like the new lobber shield design, right? So I'll just go showcase it one more time, right? You can just pause the video whenever, and you can kind of just see like how I designed it. It should be fairly simple overall. This is also going to help assisting with the floor launching too. And on the assassin tunnel, on the hill amplifier over here, it should be pretty much the exact same, right? I think I had a traps over here, but I figured it's actually not really that needed, right, for my testing. I used to have excuse me, I used to have lobber shield over here, but according to my calculation, I don't need it because this over here should act as making them do 9 tile throwing, right? And over here is actually a 7x7, right? And over here is a 7x6, right, distance, right? So that's actually still going to be more than 9 tiles, right? So this is actually more than 9 tile distance from the amplifier, from this position. So that's why I figured maybe they shouldn't throw anyway. So I'm going to verify this to make sure it still works. All right. Now let's go over to the Hill South. Now Hill South has also gone through a little bit of changes. I used to have traps all the way across, right? And I've been removing them slowly here and there. And this one seems to be necessary. So this wall launcher seems to be necessary over here. But I think other than that, it should be good to have all these traps removed. I also used to have a block off over here, I think, or something like this, right? And I just removed it because it was not necessary. Because once they get recycled down here, that block off does not serve any purpose. I also had a trap over here, and I removed that because I don't feel like I need it, because there's a lot of wooden floor spikes over here already. Okay. Other than that, I think that area should be pretty much the same over here. I used to have a roof on here, right? So there used to be a roof on here, and from my testing, I could remove 3 tiles of this roof, right? I tried removing 4, and it didn't work over here, right? So I tried removing this one, it didn't work. Another thing to notice too is I have gone through a little bit of changes to the lobber shield. So the lobber shield is slightly cheaper than before, a little bit cheaper, right? So this is the lobber shield I'll be using from now on for the Hill South. So saves a little bit of tiles here and there. launch them down here, launch them down here. So all these are still sound walls as in my video, and make sure that you launch them down here so that when they drop down here, they're not against the wall and they might bang on it. And this is also a very important thing to have for the my amplifier. For camping up there over the assassin tunnel they're going to try to path, right? So I'm going to be having a little assassin tunnel over here, right? And this assassin tunnel has been working very well, right? Very, very well. I'll just have tar pits, wall launchers, and just launch them all the way south. All right. And I think I also used to have this structure over here, and I have since removed that, and this one over here. So you can see there's a little bit of changes with the lava shield because this is based on the calculations I've done with the flingers. Alright, so it seems like I don't really need those at all. Alright. And I have a wall light over here. I think I used to have wall launchers all the way across or something like that. But I've changed this to a wall light because a 4x impact wall light will always stagger a smasher no matter what level in 1-player difficulty. Right, 4-player difficulty, you're going to need 5x impact. Alright, and I think one thing to note as well is that this front area, I removed all the traps over here, but I still need this floor tile to connect this to the stair, or else the smasher will not path on there. All these floors were removed to save on structures. And this is 5x impact, 5x impact, 0 impact, and 0 impact over here. Alright. I used to have traps under here, but it seems like I don't really need them. They never got utilized for some reason. Okay. Floor launcher here, 2x impact with launching them up. Excuse me. Alright. And just a regular wooden floor spike, and then 3x impact wall launchers, double reload wall launchers all the way across. Alright. And another thing to note too, for some reason it seems like I actually really need this wall over here, regardless of a wall launcher or not. It seems like I really need it. And I'm not sure what's the reasoning behind it. As well, on top here, there's a little bit of a lava shield over here. So one tile here, one tile there, and there's a little bit of a lava shield over there. Right? So it seems like I need it for the lobbers. I'm not sure why the lobbers were hitting on it. So it seems like the lava shield over here seems to make it work out. And I used to have a structure over here, like a slant, and I have since removed that. And the reason being is because for some reason the smasher wants to hit on it. But as soon as they destroy it, they move back. So I just removed it. Alright. And I think I'll have, oh yeah, I didn't have these half low walls over here, or start half floors. So before I didn't have these half floors, which I totally forgot to mention, and the reason being is because I didn't have this assassin tunnel over here. But as soon as I put this assassin tunnel, when they get launched, they seem to phase through the walls over here. It's like, what? But these half floors over here seem to prevent them from phasing, so I since kept them. I have this pole over here because I used to have a wall here, right? But for some reason, at some point in some patch, they like to break on this wall. So I put a pole over here to path the husk just a tiny bit, little bit more west, so that they could path all the way up on this tile without wanting to break on the tile and getting stuck. Okay. So a little bit of changes here and there. Lava shield, I think, has been exactly the same for the lava. Right? I think it's been exactly the same. Alright. But yeah, there's also that lava shield though that's gone through changes. I added this tile over here, I think, from the video. Right? I think that tile is lava shield. And there's this tile over here, right? So this is this lava shield over here, because before I think I used to do this, right? I think I used to do this, and this would block for flingers, right? But because I'm doing a assassin tunnel, I can't really do that anymore. So I have to change the lava shield over there. Alright. Possibly I may need... Now this one I also need too, because if a flinger for some reason was pathing all the way over here, through my hills south, all the way down here, all the way down here, and then over here, eventually they would be able to fling, right? They would be able to fling. Although, although I might actually just remove it. I'm pretty sure I could just remove it actually, because they can't fling from this tile. They can fling from these two tiles. Even if a flinger does somehow make it over there in a very rare occasion, this will just launch them anyway. So I don't think I need this. Alright, cool. I don't need it. Alright. Now there's also going to be a little bit more changes on the lava. Just a little bit. But I will do a lava video, no pre-build, because this is a highly complex build anyway. Alright. So most of these have kept the same, right? Most of these have stayed the same, right, in terms of layering. I think the main difference, I removed this wall. So that's one tile saving over there. Removing that wall. And let's see, what else did I do that changed? I think that's it for this layering. Right, that area changed. Everything in here stayed the same though. Everything in here stayed the same. Right? Yeah, everything in here stayed the same, so follow the video and you should be good there. I removed this floor over here because it seemed like it wasn't needed, but I think I never had that floor. Yeah, I don't think I had that floor. I changed this to a half stair over here, but that's completely optional. This should still work. And the reason being because I added a roof over here, because I was thinking maybe the lobbers from lobbing the tunnel could be because I don't have a roof on here. So, but I have no verification that this would actually do anything, right? But to prevent them from pathing on the roof, I have them pathing on the half stair over here. That's all. Alright, and the amplifier again is extremely overbuilt as usual, right? So you can see it's overbuilt as usual, very much so. And I think I think overall all of these layers have been the same. I did a picture update for that area. I added these two layers over here, 1, 2. I added this wall here. I think that's it. I think that's the only changes I may have made for this down here area, right? And of course there's an overbuilt amplifier here, but because, you know, there's too many bosses that could potentially just whack everything, right? So I need to make sure I have enough structures for that, if in case it does happen. Now Vixen, one of my friends, right, also does a build like this, and for some reason she found a way to have them loop constantly, like have them dance constantly every single time. So I'm really curious to how she did that, right? But yeah, she's a good builder too. Now, there's also another thing too I'm going to mention as well. This half floor is no longer needed. This is actually thanks to her that she found this out. I don't need this half floor here. So that's good. They can still path on the geyser. And this is, in case you didn't get the picture, right? If you forgot to see the picture, this is the update for that area, right? Excuse me. Underneath is just pretty much hollow, exactly the same. Just removed a little bit of layers here and there because it wasn't needed. Alright. Under here, I think this should have been pretty much the exact same. Right? Use sound walls or wall launchers, whatever works. And I think this area I saved one extra tile, right? Instead of doing these two walls, I did one extra slant over here. Alright, and the reason why I do the slant, by the way, is more or less, actually, I might not need it, but yeah, this is just in case that they come too far somehow and they're on the edge over here. They're on the edge, so don't bonk their head, they can still get launched. Yeah, but that's it. It might not be needed though. It might not be needed. But yeah, I'll just leave it for now. Okay, so we are gonna go over to the Valley Amplifier. As soon as I know how to jump, there we go. Now the Valley Amplifier, I already did a damage build on this, right? And it's been working really amazingly, right? Really amazingly. I think I added one structure over there, but that's it. One structure over here is a lava shield, but I don't think it might not be needed because it worked before without it. Amplifier design is of course overbuilt. I might even add more structures on it, just for the hell of it, right? Might add even more. Because I'm having a little bit extra structures, and I'll have a lot more once I change a bit. Excuse me. And you can see there's lots of damage here. Now I've done some changes since my build, right? And this is like an extremely ultra expensive build that I'm pretty sure most people won't be able to afford, right? But this is one build that you can do, right? Which I'm using tons of wall dynamos, tons of wall darts, tons of ceiling electric fields, ceiling zappers, everything to try to kill those smashers, right? And this seems to work better than the double broadsides, right? So this combo with the wall dynamos, wall darts, ceiling electric fields on both sides, right? With the ceiling zapper here and the tar pit, this seems to work better than the double broadsides over here, right? Because the double broadsides, right, even though they're really amazing, I don't think they're as good as the dynamo wall dart and ceiling zap and the ceiling electric field combo. I think those are just way too strong to compare, right? So if you really want to, right, for example, I have how many structures? 9 structures, okay? So if I want to, I could do this, right? I could do that, that, over there, that, and that over here, right? And then essentially what would I do is I would put the dynamos over here, which I think I should make new ones. Yeah, I should make new wall dynamos over here. You don't have much nuts and bolts, oh no. But yeah, I'm going to, you would pretty much do these dynamos over here, the wall darts on each side, right? So there's like super duper ultra trap it out. And then you put the ceiling fields on each side, right? And how many structures I have left from that? So yeah, that cost. So now I don't have many structures left, right? So that was from 9 structures to 2. Right? So that costs quite a bit of extra structures just to do that. I think I did it right. Yeah. So yeah, you can see this is very expensive to do, and this is just one tile, right? So this is like I think this is the most optimal way to squeeze out as much damage as you can, unless you path them one more tile west over here. So you can path them one more tile west over here, and this should be fine. So there's a couple reasons why I did this, right? If you're curious about the damage build, is because one, there is also a mist pod spawn right on this tile over here. So there's a mist pod spawn that breaks all the walls surrounding it, right? So that actually renders the double broadsides completely useless if I forget to repair it. Right? And also this in general seems to do more damage not only to the smashers but also to regular husks, right? So I changed all of these to the dynamos and wall darts combo, right? And I think so try to avoid the double broadsides. Even the double broadsides do absolutely amazing damage. They are the broadsides are way cheaper to do, so that's why I recommend if you're going to do a damage build but you don't have many structures, you do the broadsides. But if you have lots of structures, you do the wall dynamos, wall darts, and do all the big shabam, right? All the big shabam everywhere. All right. Of course, this is extremely expensive. That I wouldn't recommend any sane person to do, right? I might even try to do a little bit more over here. This would connect to the amplifier, which no good, no good. And here, right here, and then we can do crit. And oh no, I ran out of structures, right? Because I added this extra tile. So you can see it's extremely expensive. You can just keep adding these, and it's just, oh my gosh. But yeah, that is essentially this build over here, right? I'm gonna remove this. I don't think I need it. Right, where you're just spamming as much damage traps as possible. Now this new change is actually both for the cheesy build and for the damage build. You can actually remove these tiles over here. So you can remove these tiles over here, and you can remove this tile over here, right? And what ends up happening is that this actually still lets them path over there. So it's really surprising they don't need those there. Really surprising. Okay. So that is one thing that you could do over there to save a tiny bit extra structures on the block off. All right. I think one thing though is to make. Oh yeah, you also don't need this wall over here. I had a wall there. Don't need it. I also think I'm going to put this floor over here. I don't think I'm going to put the floors all the way across. I'm going to put the floor over here because what I noticed is that when the mist pod spawns on the north side, they seem to not actually go. Want to path on here, so I'm thinking maybe try to make the floor over here and see if they'll path diagonally over here and seeing if that works. Alright, so I'm going to try that. But yeah, everything about this valley has been pretty much the exact same, right? It's pretty much the exact same idea, right? think I have a wall light over here in case the husk, because sometimes the smasher would hit on it. So seeing if this would reset, and seeing if that would reset the smasher, that may for some reason hit on that wall, right? All right, and those are 4 times impact single reload wall lights. All right, so I'm going to upgrade this. Okay. And another thing to note as well, right, and to make sure, this is really crucial, right, when you're talking about things like the Wamp amp, the Assassin Husk, make sure you stand really, really far south. Like, I stand about here, this far south, right? In terms of terrain, I match it up with that over there, right? Match it up with that, and that's how far I go, right? It's really, really friggin' far. And I guess in terms of the amplifier, I'm pretty much right looking straight at it, right? So this is where I stand to AFK, and it's been a very reliable spot. So I stand really far when I camp, right? And this is it's mainly for the Wamp amplifier, because the Assassin Husk needs to go really far south in order for the Husk to go south. I have also tried removing some of these tiles over here for the lava bomb shift, because Ark told me that you don't need the edited floors and you can still shift the lava bomb and it should be okay, right? So this is what I've done. I have simply just removed all the edited floors all over here, all over there, and all over there, and see if it still works. And so far it's been working, but let me know if you guys are having trouble with this, alright? So that's another way you can also save some structures there. So the beach amplifier. Beach amplifier, pretty much the exact same. Pretty much. I removed the floor launchers in here. Just one of them. I still need these floor launchers because they do phase. And there is, let's see. These ones are been the same. These ones are cool. Oh yeah, there's also one little change in here, which saves a couple structures. Is that I don't need these over here, so I used to have a slant over here, use a slant in here. It seems like I don't need them, right? So that saves 2 structures in there, right? Just 2 structures. In case you didn't see the picture video, the picture update in my beach update video, this is one update I did where I did a wall, a pole over here, and a floor, so that the Assassin Husk can still path here, and all the husks would path north, right? Because sometimes the husk didn't path. When I left it open like this, sometimes all the husks didn't go over there, and some of them went over here. Not much, but some. So I made the update where I pathed them all over there, and it worked. Alright. And everything here has been pretty much the same. I think maybe I removed the wall launcher here or something, but I think that's it. Everything's here pretty much the same. Over here, I removed one wall launcher over there. It wasn't needed, but all these wall launchers are needed. And the amp design over here, I updated in the description where you can put them as full walls. If you put them as arches, there's a rare spawn that doesn't recognize these arches as structures on the amp, and then they start proceeding to charge, which is rather strange. Alright, and there is going to be the Wamp amplifier. So the Wamp amplifier, in my opinion, is the one amplifier that causes the most trouble for people. It's mostly a combination of either the inaccuracy of the build, right? So they missed a tile, or somehow it's connecting to the block off, or they're not standing very far south enough on the valley, or they don't have the proper assassin tunnels. There's all kinds of combination things. So hopefully I'll try to explain all of them. If you're going to be camping on the valley amplifier over there, all the way back there, again, make sure you're very far south. Over here on this block off, make sure that you are having a very strong block off over here, which would kill the husks, right? Try not to spend too much traps on recycling them, just kill them, right? And they're not too strong except for the laser boys. So I'll use the double dynamos with the gas traps, and then the wall dart to zap through them, right? And this is also a wall dynamo over here, and gas traps. And gas traps are just regular gas traps, right, with reload. And I might even open this up here to do a little bit more damage, but I don't think it's necessary. Okay. And once you have that, you should be good to go, right? And then there's going to be an assassin tunnel over here, right? So this assassin tunnel is for this half stair. So the idea is to get the husk over here, instead of banging on this block off over here, because what ends up happening is that the assassin husk, they want the path over here for some reason, and then get to you. I don't know why, but if you path enough south, if you pass south enough, they don't want to come over there, right? So it's all really because of where you're standing that they want to beat on this, right? However, at the same time, if they spawn extremely close over here, they might want to hit on here they might actually just want to hit on here just for a little bit, but it's usually the weak husk. It's never the laser boy, right? If the laser boy's whack on it, you are screwed. They will destroy it. So the laser boy is bad, but the other husks are fine. They don't do enough damage, right? Laser boy is just the bad one. Because the laser boy, as long as you path north south, then you would path under here, right? And however, they still do take some damage, which I'm going to have healing gas traps for. So these are healing, right? Not effect duration. And then for this block off over here, right? So I still need this wall over here. The reason being is because if husk is over here, I don't want them to take a shortcut over here, which then may end up wanting to hit this ramp under here, right? So I want to make sure that they take as edge as they can, right? Edge them as much as you can, right? There's no longer a wall launcher here, saves on structures. There's a wall dynamo here on here, right, with the low half wall here, and then a followed wall here, right? And this is just in case a husk gets stuck in here and we can kill them, right? Just in case. Walls over here with traps. So the traps have been removed, the walls have stayed, right, for the extra layering. Over here, I could possibly remove the sound wall and see if that would still make the build stable. And this over here, I think I'm just going to keep this walls because of the husk phasing, which I experience when a propane gets launched from the wall launcher, and they seem to try to get up through the wall and then start to blow up on this wall, which is kind of weird. Alright, so I'm going to see if I'm removing this sound wall does anything. So this is going to be experimental. Alright, I used to have a wooden floor spike there, but now it's been switched to a freeze trap. This wall launcher over here, now this in my opinion is optional, but however when I came back over to the Wamp amplifier, I did notice that this wall did take over 50% damage and I only had 40% health left. So I added a wall launcher over here to, that would probably remove any risk from this wall launcher being broken, right? Remove the entire risk of it. Alright, and everything over here has been pretty much the exact same in terms of the pathing, right? Now I used to have flat floors over here in my video, right? And these have since been changed to half. These have since been changed to half floor, so that they'll still path on here, right? They'll still path on here. And also there used to be block offs over here, right? And there's block offs over here, which I explained in my Homebase East video that they have been removed, right? So that I don't have to worry about the assassin husk pathing order here, right? And they can't path diagonally onto here either, right? Which is good. And the assassin husk from Homebase East would also go on here, right? And then they would try to be on this wall. So that's why for this particular Homebase East and Wamp block off, you need to make sure that this is not layered. We do not need layers on here, right? We need to make sure there's actually as little layers as possible so that the husk will path on this wall, right? The assassins will path on the wall. On the B in the wall, they get stuck and they get zapped. In fact, I might even switch these to broadsides because I think the dynamos just work overall better. Excuse me. I don't think I need a sound wall on there. Yeah, I don't think I need it. I'm gonna go on there, and there is this Wamp, Wamp amplifier design. So this Wamp amplifier design is pretty much as shown with the corners, right? Northwest, southwest, southeast, and northeast having the slants with walls all surrounding it. And there's going to be an additional walls over here. There's 3 additional walls on the very west, right? And with the roof facing the east side over here, as shown, right? So I'll just show it again. What ends up happening actually many times, which I'm not sure what's the reasoning behind it, right? But it doesn't always happen. But it's really nice that when it does. So essentially what happens is that when the mini boss spawns, it seems like they break the wall and they start dancing, which is kind of strange. I'm like, why are you dancing, boy? So yeah, that's something really interesting. So I haven't changed this design since. I used to overbuild it even more. But since I found that they dance a lot, then I just left it the way it is. Okay. Excuse me, my goodness. But yeah, that is overall pretty much all the builds all together, right? And it's really important to keep in mind that these builds will change in the future, right? And this is just because I want to try out new builds, right? Not always using the same build, see if there's other builds, right? Because not everybody wants to do 0 damage, right? Some people really want to do damage builds, right? Which is totally fine, and I think it's also really cool, especially with the damage buffs that we've been received, right? And if you saw my damage build on the Valley Amplifier, it's been working really amazingly to kill the smashers, right? And I think and now I even upgraded it even more, so it'll do even more damage, right? So pretty much no smasher would ever leave, right, from my tunnel. Actually, I don't think any smasher has actually successfully left my tunnel because of these changes, right? Because it added so many damage traps. Okay, but yeah, I'm gonna see if I can make a damage pit build, right? I mean, that's the next thing I'm gonna try to do in terms of builds, right? And yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, have fun building.